Follow Thursday at 6:30.
President Clinton and Pope John Paul, a mile-high meeting in Denver. The Marine Commandant and marriage in the Corps. The general gets new orders and very encouraging news on Alzheimer's. The key is in a gene.
This is a special edition of NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw, reporting tonight from Denver.
Good evening from Denver, where Pope John Paul today began his third visit to the United States with an appeal to resist abortion, while President Clinton and abortion rights advocates stood quietly by. The Pope will be joined here by more than 150,000 young Catholics gathered from around the world, many of them tonight at Mile High Stadium in Denver. As you can see, the Pontiff receiving many of the faithful who have gathered here for this International Youth Conference. Tomorrow morning, he'll celebrate Mass in the same place. He'll spend much of tomorrow at a mountain retreat, and then he goes to Vail over the weekend. These young people have come from around the world, the Vatican hoping that these images will encourage other youngsters to become involved with the Catholic Church either for the first time or perhaps they'll rejoin the church. The Pope met today with President Clinton. They disagree on many issues, but they have common needs as well. NBC's Andrea Mitchell tonight on the Pope and the President.
Under gray skies and a light rain, the 73-year-old pontiff met the 46-year-old president.
You have been an advocate for peace and justice among nations and peoples, a strong voice calling for an end to hatred and to hunger everywhere.
As spiritual leader of the world's Roman Catholics, Pope John Paul II was not going to compromise on his chief disagreement with Bill Clinton, abortion.
All the great causes that are yours today will have meaning only to the extent that you guarantee.
Officials believed the two men would find agreement on women's health issues, jobs, and social justice. He also criticized Western leaders for not doing enough to end the fighting in Bosnia.
The international community ought to establish more effective structures for maintaining and promoting justice and peace.
Midway through the Pope's speech, the light rain turned into a downpour, but it didn't dampen the crowd's enthusiasm. Later, at a nearby Catholic university, they held private talks. They discussed trouble spots around the world, including Somalia. The Pope believes the humanitarian mission is becoming too militaristic. When they emerged, the president tried to emphasize areas of agreement.
We shared many values and perspectives. A commitment to today's young people in the United States and throughout the world. A belief in work and family.
But the Pope again talked about his opposition to abortion.
The right to life, defense of life, as well as the well-being and full human development of individuals and peoples are at the heart of the Church's message and action.
The president said later that abortion did not come up during the private meeting. But the two men apparently did have a spirited discussion about world problems, including a plea from the Pope for more American leadership in Bosnia. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News, Denver.
When the president left Washington this morning, all the talk in the Capitol was about the Marines and marriage, back together again. Late yesterday, the Marines unexpectedly announced that in the future, they would no longer accept married recruits, too many distractions. But the Marine brass failed to clear that with the president, and Defense Secretary Les Aspin quickly killed the plan. NBC's John Dancy.
Marine Corps Commandant Carl Mundy is a proud Marine, but today he was eating humble pie.
Sometimes I kick one in the grandstand, and I just kick this one in the grandstand.
Monday failed to get approval from Defense Secretary Aspin and President Clinton for a new policy limiting Corps recruits to singles and discouraging marriage among young Marines. Monday says 40% of marriages among first-termers end in divorce, about the same as among civilians. The stress of long duty tours in the world's hotspots and low pay are often too much for young marriages. When Defense Secretary Les Aspin heard that Monday had issued his directive without knowledge of political leaders, he quickly ordered it withdrawn. Today, Monday conceded he had failed to see the political problems.
My focus was on attempting to develop a program that would help us better to deal with this. But what caught everyone's attention is but you're going to restrict those who can come in. Frankly, we didn't think that through well enough. That's me.
It's not the first time Monday has been in hot water with the Clinton administration. He quietly circulated this anti-gay tape among members of the Joint Chiefs of Staff while Clinton's gays in the military policy was being debated.
The average homosexual has 300 to 500 partners in his lifetime.
Is Monday's career in jeopardy? Probably not.
General Monday is kind of like the guy that walks on water on here. He walks on water. He's the white knight.
I think the appropriate response when you make a mistake is to admit you make a mistake and drive on. And it looks to me like that's what General Monday's doing.
Obscured by the controversy is the real problem Monday was trying to address: broken military families. It's still there, unsolved. John Dansley, NBC News, Washington.
Still to come here tonight on NBC Nightly News, school days are almost here for those kids in the Midwest, but the floods have brought big changes for them this autumn. And here in Colorado, baseball is the hottest thing going, except for the fans, that is.
2 a.m., 36 Pine Street. Apartment 4C has a backache and can't sleep. 3C overdid her afternoon workout and is paying the price. 2C had an aching back, but fortunately she also has Tylenol PM gel caps with extra strength Tylenol pain reliever, plus a gentle ingredient to help her sleep. And a good night's sleep was all she needed to make her day a whole lot brighter. Tylenol PM, so you can rest easy.
This is a Goodyear Aquatread, and this is a gallon of water. Aquatread's deep groove design channels water away. At highway speeds, it moves a gallon of water every second for outstanding wet traction. Aquatread, only from Goodyear.
Today, instead of a plain old Raisin Bran, Shirley discovered
Raisin Nut Bran.
A hearty, nuttier taste.
Nut-covered raisins on the taste.
Why stop at raisins when you can go nuts? Try Raisin Nut Bran.
There's an important medical advance tonight, the discovery of a gene that is believed to cause Alzheimer's, the devastating disease of the brain that causes loss of memory. This discovery means that treatment may now be in sight. NBC science correspondent Robert Bazell has more on this story.
2 million Americans have Alzheimer's. Until now, scientists had few clues about the causes of the mind-destroying illness. Dr. Alan Roses and his team have discovered a gene that appears to be responsible for the majority of Alzheimer's cases. He says this should change people's bleak outlook about the disease.
This gives them great hope that within the next 5 to 10 years, we will have therapies because we're on the correct road.
The research has found that 31% of Americans are born with the gene. That's about the percentage of people who get Alzheimer's disease if they live long enough.
These people are totally normal for the first 60, 65, 70 years of their life. There's no reason why if we do a proper type of intervention earlier on, before the development of the disease, that they can't stay normal until they're 100.
The Duke scientists are now working to learn how the gene causes Alzheimer's. Those studies should lead to drugs for prevention and treatment eventually. An immediate result of this research is a blood test that can identify people at any age who are at high risk of getting Alzheimer's when they are elderly. Until there is an effective prevention or treatment, most people probably will not want to know whether they have Alzheimer's in their future. But many scientists agree the discovery of the gene is the biggest advance so far in the effort to cure this frightening disease. Robert Bazell, NBC News, Durham, North Carolina.
At Cape Canaveral today, everything was set to go once again for the launch of the shuttle Discovery.
For main engine start. 3 main engines up and burning. 3. We have a cutoff.
Then, just seconds before liftoff, the main engines automatically shut down, delaying this mission a third time. The reason? Apparently the failure of an instrument that monitors fuel. This delay could last as long as 6 weeks. And just when it seemed to be over in the Midwest, more heavy rain today for that already soaked region. The downpour was concentrated over Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, and Indiana. It was up to 8 inches reported in some areas. The heaviest rain fell in Missouri, causing new flooding along the river that had been receding. However, as NBC's Fred Briggs reports tonight, with a new school year coming on, people now are beginning to look beyond the Great Flood of 1993.
Kick him out! Shot! Kick him out! Off his block, that's it!
Football practice has started at Orchard Farm High School. The cheerleaders brushed up on their routines in the gym, and students came by to register. School starts August 25th. The Orchard Farm School District covers 100 square miles, and 90% of it is still underwater, including this elementary school. What you're seeing is the second floor. But the main school complex stayed well above water. Whether it can do that financially is another matter. A lot of students, officials don't know how many, won't be back because their parents lost their homes and they've had to move elsewhere. That means well outside the school district. Although the schools plan to extend busing as far as 25 miles away, many students may pick closer schools.
The sooner we open, some of these unknowns will be answered as to how many students we have and to where they are.
The state of Missouri pays the schools $800 per student per year. Fewer students means less money. And property damage lowers property values in the tax base. Administrators and teachers know what that means.
Realistically, we know some of us won't be here, by the semester and by the end of the year.
Students may find school the first sign of a normal life since July 1st.
It'll be good, actually, because I'll probably forget about, the flood, maybe.
And what they did on their summer vacation. Fred Briggs, NBC News, Orchard Farm, Missouri.
There's a mystery tonight involving this car. It belongs to the father of basketball superstar Michael Jordan. James Jordan was last seen July 22nd when he left Charlotte for Wilmington, North Carolina. His car was found a week ago, stripped and vandalized. There was no sign of blood or foul play. Michael Jordan is very, very close to his father. They often travel together during the season. The Clinton administration today lifted a ban on rehiring thousands of air traffic controllers who were fired by President Reagan during their illegal strike 12 years ago. But for now, President Clinton's move is seen mainly as symbolic because, after all, there is a hiring freeze at the Federal Aviation Administration. More than 11,000 controllers were fired at the time. Their union now estimates that about 3,000 would like to return to their old jobs. And in Columbus, Georgia, a settlement today between the chemical giant DuPont and 4 farmers who claim that a DuPont fungicide called benlate caused widespread damage to their crops. The amount of the settlement was $4.25 million. It came as a jury deliberated the case. There are 400 similar cases against DuPont pending around the country. On Wall Street today, the Dow Industrial is closed lower and trading today was very heavy. Still ahead here, landowners in the West turning their trees into gold. That's when Nightly News continues from Denver.
At Ford Motor Company, quality is more than just the way a car is built. It's the design of the instrument panel, the richness of the finish, the turn of a wheel, the safety of a loved one. It's the way your car or truck makes you feel. For us, our commitment to quality is an obsession.
And it's paying off. 5 of the 10 best-selling vehicles in America are built by Ford Motor Company.
Ford Motor Company, quality is job one. It's working.
Baking with Grandma and Smucker's Cherry Preserves. What a treat. Jams are naturally fat-free, under 20 calories per teaspoon. Bet you can't wait to taste these. With a name like Smucker's, it has to be good.
Oh, my back hurts and I had a game this afternoon, so I'm taking Advil. More doctors recommend Advil by name to relieve backaches than any other brand. With Advil, a sore back won't keep me from swinging. Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
America's having a home sale. Good time to buy? Yeah. And Countrywide's low mortgage rates make home loans affordable. Better chance to qualify. In advance, by phone. America's home sale. On now. Call Countrywide first for a fast loan okay at 800-877-LOAN. 800-877-LOAN. I like it. Then call the mover. Countrywide.
Tonight, Mad About You joins a night of classic comedies. Mad About You joins Wings, Cheers, and Seinfeld tonight.
Here in the West, there's a major dispute going on over logging in the national forest. Cutting them has all but stopped as the Clinton administration's foreign policy is getting a much closer look. But meanwhile, lumber companies are looking elsewhere, even in people's backyards, so to speak. NBC's Roger O'Neill now.
Whenever Gerald Thomas walked through this part of his ranch in the Teanaway Valley of central Washington, he always looked at the grass. For 40 years, this 160 acres was where his cows grazed. But nowadays, he's looking up, not down. The trees have become the biggest cash crop he ever raised. Did you ever think about selling your trees?
Not really until the last few years. I was too busy farming to think about selling trees. They weren't worth anything at that time either.
And now?
$300,000 possibly.
That's $300,000 for Thomas's trees. In the Pacific Northwest, small private landowners have discovered a gold lining in the fight over logging in the national forest.
We basically will go up to 200 miles to purchase a log from a small landowner.
At the Boise Cascade Mill in Yakima, Washington, there's been a dramatic shift in where the logs are coming from. Before the spotted owl, 3 years ago, 24% of the trees came off federal land, the national forest. As that decreased, harvest from private lands made up most of the difference, jumping from 13 to 23%. Trees from Indian lands and the timber company's own forest made up the rest. Price is driving the private landowner to cut the trees in his own backyard. In the redwood country of Northern California, one old tree can fetch as much as $10,000. Mary Dills needs that money.
My husband, passed away, and I've got bills to pay.
Mr. Thomas is going to retire with his check. For the consumer, this, of course, translates into higher prices for homes, about $5,000 more now to build an average-size house. But harvesting on private land is only a Band-Aid solution to the present demand for timber. This land won't be logged again for another 40 years. There's just not enough private timberland in this country to make up for the loss of wood from the federal forest. Environmentalists say they are not worried about private timber cutting, perhaps because at the rate these small parcels of land are being logged, the supply of private wood will run out in 2 years. And then the timber companies say the real fight for wood will begin. Roger O'Neill, NBC News, Cle Elum, Washington.
Turning overseas now, there was a new confrontation today involving American troops in Somalia. It happened at an anti-UN demonstration. Several thousand people were protesting in Mogadishu. Witnesses said Americans arrived in jeeps. The crowd began to throw stones. The Americans fired shots over the crowd. 3 people were wounded, but the Americans say Somali gunmen were to blame. And in a London hospital today, Irma, that's the 5-year-old Bosnian girl wounded in a mortar attack last month, she was in critical but stable condition today. She underwent still more surgery on shrapnel wounds in her abdomen. Doctors said the meningitis that she's developed is responding slowly to antibiotics. And in Moscow today, Russian President Boris Yeltsin said he will call parliamentary elections this fall if Congress does not. It amounted to a threat to go beyond the law, since in Russia, the president doesn't have the power to call those elections. Yeltsin's aim is to break a political deadlock with the hardline Congress of People's Deputies. When we come back, I'll be talking with the young faithful. What part does the church play in their lives? That's when Nightly News continues from Denver.
I used pressure-treated lumber, and I still have $800 in water damage. How come?
Even treated wood needs Thompson's Water Seal Waterproofer.
This patio was supposed to last for years. Now I have $1,200 in damage. Why?
Your concrete wasn't protected with Thompson's Water Seal Waterproofer. Thompson's protects wood, brick, and concrete. Without it, you're wide open for water damage. Don't wait until it's too late.
Let it rain. This time I use Thompson's, a great defense against repair expense.
To celebrate Buick's 90th anniversary, we proudly introduce the 90th Anniversary LeSabre. LeSabre has a proven reputation for quality and the highest projected resale value in its class. Now, you get all this Buick quality, comfort, and elegance at a special anniversary price. The 90th Anniversary Buick LeSabre. Quality its competition just can't hold a candle to.
A puzzle. With so many stomach remedies around, how do you know which you can take for heartburn? And for diarrhea? And for upset stomach? You take Pepto-Bismol to relieve most any common stomach problem: heartburn, upset stomach, and diarrhea. So who needs anything else? That is a puzzle. Pepto-Bismol's the only one you need.
Definitely not.
Absolutely not.
Negative.
To save pennies per call on your 800 service, would you risk losing sales?
No way.
No. Not a chance.
That's what over 9 out of 10 800 users we surveyed said. Introducing Maximum Advantage from AT&T. Now you can automatically get AT&T's lowest price guaranteed on the most reliable 800 service in the business. Know anyone who can beat that?
No.
Maximum Advantage from AT&T, the best in the business.
Tomorrow morning on Today, we'll broadcast live from Denver as the Pope comes to Colorado.
Plus Colorado Rockies baseball. It's a big hit out west. Join us tomorrow morning.
And see what a difference today makes.
The Catholic Church in America faces a number of serious problems, especially with the young who struggle over the differences between church dogma and the values of a popular culture. In recent surveys of young U.S. Catholics, most disagree with church teachings on requiring celibacy for priests, denying women a chance to become a priest, birth control. While most of the young who are here are faithful to church teachings, even on those issues, they wrestle with them all the time. I had a lively time today with a cross-section of the young delegates.
We have women involved in all aspects of the church, and I think the church has been...
But not as priests.
But not as priests. But I think if you look at the...
Well, who's making the designations for those roles is what we need to look at. Who's saying that women aren't called to be priests?
I also myself would like to consider becoming a priest, but I don't have the option.
The church teaches respect for women. They teach everyone to love and respect each other. One of the greatest commandments is love thy neighbor as thyself. And if you love someone as much as you love yourself, you respect them, and I think the church teaches respect for everyone.
So you're happy with the church's position in the place of women?
Yes.
What are the issues that you want to see raised here? What's important to you?
You don't see a lot of black people in the Catholic Church.
In what way do you think the church is not in touch with black people?
Well, I mean, we had the opening ceremony in St. Paul to send off, and there was no multicultural things. Everything was white concerts and white music.
What about the issues that seem to go directly to young people? Celibacy, birth control, the place of women in the church. Are you comfortable with the church's position on all of that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest problem surrounding those is people don't know enough about them.
It's not easy to be a Catholic. It is not easy. It's a tough choice, but it's a good choice, and it gives me a great feeling to make those choices.
If we're a community of faith, don't we, as people who have remained faithful to the church, have a responsibility to call other Catholics, disenfranchised Catholics, like you're saying, into the church? Don't we have a responsibility in doing that to try and understand why they're disenfranchised?
But I think we can do it without compromise.
We don't need to change our basic principles to do that. If we change our basic... No.
We don't need to change, we need to change them.
No. If we change our basic principles, we're no longer Catholics.
If the church does not begin to change on some of these issues that young people feel really directly affect their lives, do you think it will be successful in attracting more young people?
You know, you can't just change the Catholic Church because Americans need a change.
I think what it is realistic to expect is that the church is open to dialogue with a changing society.
I think the fact that the hierarchy continues to listen to the people is a very important dimension of the church that we value. But at the same time, there's a political aspect that the papacy carries with it, and dialogue sometimes isn't enough. I mean, you have to show at the same time that through policy that you are listening to the people.
And that debate will be going on wherever young people gather here over the next 4 days. Still to come tonight, some Colorado baseball fans. They're all wet, and they're loving it when Nightly News continues from Denver.
Last week really scared me. My dad's stomach was really bad, but he wouldn't admit it. He has this thing about doctors. I was afraid he had an ulcer. And you know what? The doctor said Mylanta. It was indigestion, the kind that needs really strong medicine.
Mylanta is strong medicine, strongly recommended. It's the antacid doctors recommend most.
My doctor said Mylanta.
Also available in tablets and now gel caps.
So, you want to save on long distance. What a pain. Restrictions on times of day, area codes, calling circles, and there's no guarantee you'll save. Except with the Most. It's like a 1 billion megabyte brain at Sprint. It figures out who you call the most and guarantees you savings every month. 1 month, your best friend in Alaska. Next month, your new best friend in Lahaina. Isn't science wonderful?
Now get $50 free long distance with the Most, only from Sprint.
What if there was a flower that always looked beautiful and always smelled fresh? A flower that never stopped blooming. Now there is. Introducing Glade Plug-ins Tulip. Now Plug-ins refills last even longer. Not for 30, but for 45 days of freshness. Plug into 45 days of Glade freshness. Now in Tulip. Glade from SC Johnson Wax.
I hit the floor at 9 a.m. and I'm going non-stop till we close. That's why I fix a dent and forget it.
An all-night shift and 5 cups of coffee, no problem. Now I fix a dent and forget it.
Even in the hottest liquids, when other adhesives stop holding, Fix-A-Dent holds stronger and longer.
Why not? Now that he switched to Fix-A-Dent, he can go from morning till night and still eat like that.
For the strongest, longest hold, Fix-A-Dent and forget it.
Now, baby Jessica, an exclusive talk with the parents who had to give her up. Their story, Tom Brokaw and Katie Couric, now premiering Wednesday on NBC.
Denver's new Major League Baseball team, the Rockies, are on the road while the Pope is in town borrowing their mile-high stadium. But when the Rockies get back, they are expected to continue to draw those record crowds. Not all Colorado teams are so lucky, of course, but NBC's Mike Leonard has found one that has just the wrinkle for its fans.
What's happening to our ballparks? They were one of the few places on Earth where pretentiousness didn't matter, where comfort was defined by a hard wooden seat and a cold hot dog. Then luxury set in. Pampered New York Yankee fans dine on shrimp and imported beer. In San Diego, it's sushi and crab cakes. And now in Colorado Springs, gulp, the ballpark hot tub.
The only way to watch a baseball game.
Well, times are changing.
And heads are turning to catch a glimpse of something that doesn't quite fit in with the revered tradition of our national pastime. The tub was installed in April when the Colorado Sky Sox, farm team to the Rockies, decided to make imaginative use out of a utility shed roof down the right field line.
It's new wave.
Bubbling up to make waves as the first hot tub section in the history of baseball.
I guarantee it won't be the last.
Not when there's money to be made. The Sky Sox charge $80 a night for a party of 8.
We're sold out for this year, and we're going into next year.
Families use it. Businesses use it. Whenever a group of young women use it, the players become somewhat distracted.
You see a foul ball, you follow it, and boom, you see a thong bikini.
Baseball purists, of course, cry foul because
It's one thing to be heckled by Mr. Beer Belly fan in a t-shirt, but to endure verbal barbs from a champagne-sipping guy in a hot tub.
Yeah, baby!
It's a whole different scene. Welcome to the 90s. Hey.
Mike Leonard, NBC News, Colorado Springs.
That's Nightly News for this Thursday from Denver, and I'll be back here tomorrow night for our continuing coverage of the Pope's visit and Western environmental issues. I'll see you then.
Tens of thousands